Hi everyone, I'm Lori Allred and I am the Pampered Keto Chef and I am excited to have you join me today. I decided to whip up a treat for a friend. She needs a pick-me-up and she recently decided to go keto, and so I'm always super supportive of people who try and make a good life change. Go low carb, kick the sugar, get rid of the flour and wheat and all those things you don't need, all those nasty carbs. And so I am going to make one of my favorite things. It is called the chocolate pudding keto chow pie. And so it is seriously the bomb. This is from a friend of mine. Met her through Instagram. She was local and now she's not, but I still love her even though she moved. You can find her on Instagram under Amanda Eats Keto, and she has the bomb recipes and she does some amazing things, keto, low carb. So go follow her. Thanks, Amanda. So I'm excited to share this recipe with you. It's super easy to do. You will need some keto chow. It's my go-to for cooking. Keto chow is a replacement shake, similar to a protein shake. So it is a protein, all your daily nutrients. Well, daily, it's 1/3 of your daily nutrients unless you eat it for all 3 meals. Then it's all your daily nutrients. And what I love about it is you can control the amount of fat based off of what you need for your diet. So I just think that's awesome based off what type of fat you want to use. You can use heavy whipping cream, you can use avocado oil, you can use butter, and you can adjust it. So I use 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I put it in the bottom with a scoop of this and then fill the rest of my blender bottle with water, and that's a whole meal. And it definitely keeps you filled. My husband has it for breakfast every morning. It comes in, I think they're up to 20 flavors now. There's 2 savory and the rest are all sweet, and it's amazing. But I use them more to cook with, and chocolate's my go-to. I actually stuff this in the back of my cupboard underneath things so Kurt can't find it, because I go through this quite a bit. So we're gonna start, first I wanna start with the crust so that it can be sitting and waiting while we go. So I'm gonna just adjust the camera down just a bit so you can see what I'm working on. The crust is super simple, and I tried a lot of those flour style crusts in the beginning when I started keto, trying to find a replacement, and I didn't love any of them, especially the cooked kind. So there's just not that nice floury flaky crust out there. If you know of one, send it to me, I will try it. But this is the bomb, great crust. It's similar to like a graham cracker crust, but we're gonna use almond flour. It calls for just 1 1/4 cups of almond flour, and I'm gonna make a mess doing this. And I use just blanched fine almond flour. I usually buy it at Costco or off of Amazon, wherever I can find a good deal. Sam's Club, I think, carries it. So we're gonna just go ahead and not be super scientific about this. Okay, there's the one, and here's my 1/4 cup. And believe it or not, I can't tell that it's a almond flour crust actually by the time I get done. So we're just gonna do those 2, that's easy. And then we're gonna do some cocoa powder, super simple. It calls for, 1/4 of a cup. Oh good, we already had that out. So I was doing tablespoons. I made one yesterday, because if I make this, I have to make one for us and one to give away. I can't just make one or Kurt gets mad and I get jealous. And it was killer too, because I was doing a 42-hour fast, and that's bad. Don't fast and make food. Just wouldn't recommend it. So this is just cheap baking cocoa, nothing special about it. And then just 2 tablespoons of confectioner's swerve. Remember, it comes in brown. They have brown and granular and then confectioners. And what I love about this is powdered, basically powdered erythritol. And say that really fast. Erythritol is just a sugar substitute for those of us that don't do regular sugar. It's about 70% as sweet as regular sugar. And after you haven't been on sugar for a while, 70% is just fine. So we're just gonna add a couple tablespoons to kind of sweeten that up a little bit. And then the trick is I'm gonna incorporate this. Oh, I always make a mess of my apron. That's okay. I actually bought 2. Because I am a messy cook. Have I mentioned to you all how much I love working with Pampered Chef? It is like my calling. Seriously, I have people messaging me every now and then, well, all the time, asking me for questions about keto and going low carb. how would they change up a recipe, or what would they use in place of something that they've always used. I have a lot of friends that simply want to go low carb for health reasons, not necessarily just weight loss. And I love doing that. And this is such a good combination for me to do Pampered Chef. And my first commission check right out of the bat, like within, I think it was just a couple weeks after I started, was $410. Like for a side hustle, I was super excited because you know, I love the flexibility of working from home, and I love the clients I work with doing my marketing stuff, but I also love being creative, and I think cooking's creative. So it has just been a joy to get back with Pampered Chef. Although my husband hates that I record everything I cook now. Although we have more food than he's had in a long time. So there's that, that's a plus. Okay, so look how nice, and that looks just like chocolate, right? It is chocolate. And then I have 2 to 3 tablespoons of just melted, unsalted melted butter that I'm gonna just pour in there. And then we're just gonna incorporate that. And I tried doing this where I cooked it a little bit. It was kind of unnecessary, so you don't need to. I've even had taste testers who don't eat low carb try this pie, and they love it. And I know on the Keto Chow XYZ is their website, so it's Keto Chow XYZ. I do believe that they have the nutritional information listed for this recipe if you want to know. I just have a cheap pie tin because if I give it away, I don't care if they have to give it back. So we're just gonna dump all that in there, and I don't do anything fancy for this part. We just use our fingers. So make sure the bottom's covered and just press down. That butter's gonna keep it all together. Nothing super technical about this. Now, I don't know how many of you know, I don't know if I've posted yet about when this video go up. If you've seen my post about the June special, where Pampered Chef is doing an exclusive release with Disney Pixar. Super cute breakfast tools with the Toy Story 4 characters. So go check it out if you haven't already. So nothing super fancy, just a chocolate pie crust. And trust me. Now this recipe, I will tell you need to leave it in the fridge overnight. Just to let that, the inside pudding section, we want to let that set up. Trust me, it tastes better. I mean, you can eat it right after you make it, but it's gonna ooze all over your plate. It's gonna set up really pretty like a piece of pie after. And so I will actually come back and videotape or add a photo probably of the finished product tomorrow when we come to eat. And it keeps really well, like for a couple days, because Kirk and I can't eat a whole pie, and well, we shouldn't eat a whole pie in one day. So I'm gonna set that aside, and we'll go on to the guts. So I'm just gonna use my classic batter bowl. I have the old ones that were rounded. I love this new flat sided one, and the lid actually fits. The old one not so much. The nice thing about this is it cleans up a lot nicer. It's easier to scrape out the inside and take that lid on and off. Look how beautiful. This is the regular size one. So for the inside, this is super simple. I am gonna use an immersion blender if none of you have ever used one. I'm waiting for Pampered Chef to come out with one. It's my go-to for a lot of things. So much easier and less messy than pulling out my blenders, my whatever you call them. So this, all we're gonna use is, we're gonna take 1 cup of heavy cream. And I always debate, do I put the liquid in and then the dry stuff? Either way, it's kind of messy. So we're gonna, now for the inside, we're gonna use my go-to, Keto Chow. Now, for those of you who have never seen me use Keto Chow, it is a protein drink, meal replacement shake for keto. And it does have 1/3 of your daily nutrients if you're on keto. And of course, if you were gonna eat it all 3 meals, it would have your whole daily nutrients. It's just packed with a lot of the nutrients that you need. It's not a supplement. A lot of those protein drinks you eat on different diets are just a supplement. They will make you hungry after about a couple hours. This really, for me, in fact, usually I'll eat half of it and then go back and eat half of it another meal. But this is my favorite because you can heat it up like hot chocolate, because it is hard to find a good hot chocolate on keto. And this is my go-to. I add cinnamon to it, so it's a little like Mexican hot chocolate. And I hide this in the back of my pantry so Kurt can't find it. But I cook with it probably more than I actually drink it. So you can also adjust your fat content with it so they don't add the fat to it, you do. So I do it with heavy whipping cream. You can also do butter, you can do avocado oil, you can do coconut cream, and you can add as much as your diet requires. So that's the nice thing about Keto Chow. And they come in 19, I think we're up to 20 flavors. They have 2 savory, the rest are sweet. The savory can be heated up. So they're soups. Spicy taco, and they're coming out with the tomato basil and the chicken savory soup. So chocolate's my favorite. So we're gonna start with, it calls for a half a cup of water. And a whole cup of heavy cream. Now the nice thing, if you've never had Keto Chow, it tastes like a melted shake, no lie. And so a lot of people complain about that, but just add more liquid water and it'll dilute it down. And why you would want to dilute it down, I don't know. Melted shake is a good thing, right? So, but since we're not adding as much water, of course it's gonna be thick like pudding. And that's exactly what we want for our pie. Plus we're gonna leave it in the fridge overnight. So let me make sure I'm doing that right. Yep. So, and we are gonna add, put that aside. We are gonna add a couple of tablespoons of just cocoa, just to give it that rich chocolate flavor. Make sure it is 2, yep, 2. And then again, we're gonna use our powdered swerve. For those of you who don't have I buy this at Harmon's. I'm trying to get our local Smiths to carry it. And then you can also order it right off of Amazon. And then a scoop of Keto Chow. This is a great flour base too. If you're trying to replace, I don't love the taste of coconut flour. I love cooking with it, or almond flour too much. Depending on what I'm making. So it's nice to have another option. Whenever you see a recipe call for protein whey, this is a great option. So this portion of the video I'm gonna speed up because you don't wanna listen to me do an immersion blender. And hopefully one day Pampered Chef will come out with one because I love my immersion blender. Where I would lick this, but we will put it aside and do it off camera. Look how thick that is. Not coming out, baby. That is awesome. I think I might make pudding pops. Wouldn't that be yummy? I'm always surprised when people say they quit keto because they found it was super restrictive. I just think you gotta figure it out and not focus on what you can't have. So you can't have the typical, what everybody else is having, but I find that I eat better on keto than I ever did before. I'm just being more selective about the quality of food. And trust me, this pie makes it all worth it. So, okay, we're done with that. Isn't it beautiful? If only you could taste it, but we will pretend. Okay, for this portion, we're gonna use our whipped cream maker. This is what got me into Pampered Chef. When I saw this demoed, I thought, hallelujah, angels sang, because on keto, I hadn't had whipped cream. I mean, you can buy that chemical sugar-free. It was nasty. And I was excited because I could make my own with the heavy cream I already have in my fridge, and I was golden. It was awesome. And so, and you can flavor it. That's the bomb. So now on this, you're gonna want heavy whipping cream that's straight out of the fridge. So bear with me while I go get some actual cold heavy whipping cream because this has been sitting out. Okay, I'm back and I have cold heavy whipping cream. And so this is just 3 pieces. This would be your base. This is a non-skid base that can also be used for a lid when you're done. And then you have this inside in the container. This little line right here, don't go past that to fill. If you fill that, that's 1 cup. It'll make 2 cups of finished whipping cream. We don't need all that whipping cream, so I'm not gonna fill it all the way. Just under maybe a 1/2 cup. I need maybe a cup for the top of that. Okay, we'll do about a 1/2 cup. And then we're gonna add in some vanilla. This is just cheap imitation vanilla. We're all right with that, right? That's probably too much. And then we're gonna do our swerve. Just need a tablespoon, or maybe not quite that much. And then it takes 40 to 60 seconds or 40 to 60 pumps, and I'll speed up through this part. Okay, you can tell when it's done because it gets harder to pump. It's that air going through exactly what you want. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, yes, baby. Okay, I'm not going to try and flip it because that could be all kinds of disaster. We'll get our little mini scraper out. We're just going to coat the top of this pie. I always like to taste test it, make sure it's fine, but I'll behave. We're going to scoop the rest of it out of the container. And just slowly. Now, did I mention this needs to sit in your fridge overnight? So you'll want it to sit up so that when you go to cut into the pie, it doesn't kind of migrate all over. A little kind of drizzle. We want it to sit up like a piece of pie. I'd love to know how many of you are trying to do low carb or keto. You don't have to be keto to be low carb. I have a lot of friends who are just finding that they need to make some changes. I've been doing keto, for those of you who don't know, for a little over 2.5 years now. I was low carb before that, but when someone said I could have bacon and lose weight, I was all excited about that. Okay, now we're gonna do the chocolate drizzler. So, one moment while I get it out of the microwave. Oh, first let's start with what I'm gonna start with is my base. I'm gonna use Lily's chocolate chips. You can buy these off Amazon, they're kind of pricey, but I buy them at my local Harmon's grocery store, and they're the Lily's chocolate bars I also love. Oh. Another good one, if you haven't, there's a website, and I'll put a link, Explorado.com. It's a market in Colorado, and they actually offer mini chocolate chips for baking as well that are really good. So try those. We're gonna microwave these. I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut oil to them, and I'm gonna microwave them until they go melted. So, okay, we're back. I just microwaved the chips with a little bit of coconut oil for about 40-45 seconds until I had some nice chocolate. We're gonna use our chocolate drizzler. This is in the baking section of the Pampered Chef catalog. It's like a syringe. It's the coolest thing ever. And I've tried this with a glaze for my donuts I did. So it's made for chocolate. Should work. The theory, I just dig the whole fact it's like a syringe for chocolate. Okay, I've got chocolate in it, loaded like a syringe. Let's give it a shot. Ooh, I have no idea what to expect. Oh, is that not the coolest thing ever? Can you see that? Okay, I didn't get very much in there, so maybe once I've done a load. pull too hard. I'm afraid I kind of suctions in on itself. Oh, that's cool. Probably my dish was a little... I'm sure there's a trick to this. One-handed is not the trick. Sure, you could pour it from the top if you wanted. Watch, I'll go watch a video about, oh, here if you want to see what I'm doing. A video that shows you how to do this, and it probably says pour contents of melted chocolate from the top. Probably would work easier, so. I'm still cool with that. See, because watch. I just don't know. Well, it might work better this way. Let's try it. I could probably get way more chocolate in this way. Still think it's a little messier. But hey, I can lick my fingers. Okay. Oh, wow. Right off the bat, I get pressure. Oh, see, I get a lot more that way. Ooh, I'm cool with that. Oh, that is cool. I'm groovy. I can write people's names with it. Ooh, fun. Hope you've enjoyed this. I will post a link to the recipe over on Keto Chow's website. Okay, thank you for joining me. I have enjoyed making this pie with you. I hope my friend enjoys it as well. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Alra Design. And if you want, I do have a Facebook VIP Pampered Chef group where I post lots of different videos and ideas and of course, amazing things about Pampered Chef. So I've enjoyed having you here. Have a great day. Go enjoy something sweet that's sugar.